On any given day at USC's Allison Felix Field, you can find a trio of Olympic training partners with an unbreakable bond. Rai Benjamin, Kendall Ellis, and Michael Norman have practiced together for years as professionals, but their origin story begins as Trojans. Their journey, however, didn't exactly start out on the best of terms.
If you saw us in college, I don't think you would ever think we would be where we are now. Very close-knit. I love them. They're brothers at this point, but that definitely wasn't the vibe that we gave when we were in school together.
Kendall's very, you have to get around to, Kendall has to like you.
I think I was a junior by the time Mike came in, and I heard about how talented he was, of course, but he was just so excited. It was like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed puppy, and here I am, the jaded junior, kind of just over it all.
We were very different, and she told me, she didn't like me when I was a freshman.
All three turned pro in 2018, which was the catalyst that brought them together as a trio. Gone were the days of an eager freshman versus a jaded junior.
I think that was the shift for us because now we were training together every single day a lot more consistently, and we're traveling to these meets, and it's just a different dynamic being professional versus being in school. Our professional group has seen people come and go, but the three of us have been consistently together. So yeah, we're the OG3.
We call ourselves OG3 because we've been around since 2018. I mean, we've been through it all. It hasn't always been pretty. And I think that's just a testament to, who we are as individuals and who we are as a team and who we are as a family.
All three ran on the pro circuits after college, but were ultimately united on one main goal, the 2020 Olympic Games. But just months before becoming a reality, those dreams were quickly dashed.
The 2020 Summer Olympics, now the latest major sports cancellation caused by the global COVID-19 pandemic.
We spend 9 to 10 months of the year training for one race. And when you go through 6 months of it and to realize our dreams of becoming Olympians for the first time have been shattered, it was pretty disappointing at first.
We saw each other every day, and it was just trying to figure out, okay, what's the next move here?
We are training in mass together. We are finding horse routes and neighborhoods and the most random of places to train together. And so that's an experience that not many people get to go through together. And it was during what was supposed to be an Olympic year. So in those times of feeling discouraged and not feeling confident, you have your training partner who's going through the same thing that you're going through. So I think that definitely helped bond us even more.
The trio eventually made it to the 2021 Tokyo Olympics with high expectations still in tow. All three earned gold medals in the 4x400 relays, but fell short of their individual goals. Kendall did not qualify for the 400-meter race, and despite breaking the previous world record at the Olympics, Rai placed second in the 400-meter hurdles.
I would have bet $1 million that guy would have won that day. The way he trained, the way he looked, I had nothing but the utmost faith that he was going to win that day. I mean, we were gutted. As soon as he crossed the line, we were just dumbfounded. We had no words. It was crazy.
In a similar fashion, Mike did not medal in his 400 race after being tabbed one of the favorites heading into the games.
Disappointing for the young U.S. star who has so much potential.
While all three will tell you that they're grateful for the experience, the trio didn't have the performances they had hoped for when they originally dreamt of their Olympic goals. It was an especially hard pill to swallow for Mike, who struggled mentally and physically in the time after. He tried everything from switching coaches to even switching which races he competed in. Not sure where to turn next, the track star ultimately stepped away from the sport in 2023. The trio was now 2.
Things get very tricky when you sacrifice that much and what you're sacrificing for doesn't pay off. And I think that's really, really tough for us. I think our sport is just so cutthroat and just high risk, high reward. And if you're risking it and there's no reward, it can be tough.
It was so sad, just everything he was dealing with and his process with it all, and then just not having that third person in the group. It was so odd, and it felt so uncomfortable to be at practice without him because it just felt like something was missing. We truly weren't, it sounds so cheesy and corny, but we really weren't complete without Mike. Our training group is the three of us.
Mike says he completely shut out anything to do with track during that time period. He was, quote, on a downward spiral toward hating the sport. There was one exception, however. He still found time to tune in for each of Rai's races.
That's my brother. Like, I have to support regardless. Even though I'm in a funk and I'm not feeling it, like, I would not feel right if I skip out on Rai's race.
Mike went through a really tough period. I mean, like, I'm happy that he was able to find joy in seeing me run. And I think that really speaks to the brotherhood that we have and the friendship and the camaraderie that we have as well too. And I mean, like, that's my guy. Like, that's my brother. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for Michael.
Call it intuition or brotherly instinct, but things started to change for Mike when Rai invited him out to a practice one day.
He wasn't really doing anything, and I feel like he just needed to just see everyone again.
You know, we would talk about it right now. We're like, I think he's gonna come back. Like, he just has to come back. It doesn't make sense, like, without him, and like, he doesn't make sense without us.
So we were all just like talking, having great conversations, and by the time practice was over, there was this realization that was like, this is where I'm meant to be. These are the people that I want to be around, regardless, good, bad, great, ugly. Like, these are the people who support me through thick and thin and are there for me, and this is just where I belong. Regardless of how I'm performing on the track, like, this is where I want to be.
It wasn't awkward, it wasn't weird, it was just like, welcome back home. Like, this is where you belong, and I'm glad that you know that, like, we know that, we love you, and so I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did. And I think that experience certainly made us closer as well, because we saw how, like, just uncomfortable it was not having all three of us, and I was like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be.
Officially reunited as the OG3 for the past year, Mike, Rai, and Kendall have hit their stride at the right time. Look no further than the US trials that took place in June, where all three qualified for the Paris Olympics. It was especially notable for Kendall, who set a personal record in the semifinal race and captured first in the finals.
That's a statement race by Kendall Ellis.
I hadn't PR'd at all in my professional career, which was 6 years from college, and I was just grateful for the PR. To go out and smash it again in the final and end up winning was better than anything I could have imagined.
And Kendall Ellis is surging. Kendall Ellis is responding and wins.
It was just so exciting because, you know, Michael's so excited for me, and then Rai's like screaming for me.
She is on fire right now, and that's the greatest thing to know. Going into the Olympics, knowing that your training partners are killing it right now is a great feeling, because we're here to see history be made for everybody.
So for several days this summer, you can find this trio of Trojans on a purple track in Paris, whose bond will forever be rooted in Southern California.
I think when you come to SC, people talk to you about the Trojan family and what it means, and I think without that, like, we wouldn't be able to achieve the things that we are able to in a comfortable manner.
Being surrounded with the USC culture, that it's just really hard to leave, because I mean, we're just in such a great environment, and we really do feel like we're at home when we train here every day.
It's just been kind of an honor to be a representation of what USC can create. We have these experiences that almost no one else gets to have in the world, like making an Olympic team and then making another Olympic team.
I would not want to experience this with anyone else, because no matter what, no matter the outcome, no matter the result, like, I know that they'll always have my back.
Ultimately, when I said, like, we're OG3, like, it's us. Like, we really are locked in.